All right, today we're going to be adding custom loot tables and crafting recipes to our mod in Minecraft 1.21. This is part of the fabric modding tutorial series that I've been doing, and if you've been following it, then you know that the custom blocks we've added do not drop anything when we break them, and also we have no way to craft these blocks from raw materials, which is the item that we added also. So we're going to fix that today and make it so that the blocks drop something and that we can also craft them in the crafting table. Also, if you haven't seen, this week we got a little snowstorm in Florida, which was pretty crazy. There was like inches of snow. I made a little short about it if you want to see it. So yeah, that was fun and very unexpected. I had a week off of school. I'm in university right now and they canceled classes because the roads were just too icy. So that's a first for having lived in Florida my whole life. Also, my voice might sound a bit nasally. I haven't been feeling too well this past week. About a week ago, this dude sat next to me in class, and the whole time he was coughing up his left nut. I mean, this dude was really sick, and I was just sitting there, like, hoping I don't get sick. But lo and behold, of course, I got sick. But it's all right, because I always like to think that, at least getting sick kind of strengthens your immune system. So I don't know. If it doesn't kill me, it makes me stronger. Anyway, let's just get on to this tutorial now. So first thing we're going to do is make the custom recipes. We're going to make the custom crafting recipe for our items and our blocks. And then after that, we're going to make the custom loot tables. Now to add custom recipes, all we need to do is add a custom data pack because every Minecraft mod also has a data pack that's associated with it. And data packs allow us to add or change features like loot tables or recipes. So what we're going to do is come down to the resources folder right here and right click and hit new directory. And we're going to call this data. Inside this data folder, we're going to right click new directory. We're going to call it example mod or whatever your mod ID is. And then inside example mod, we're going to do one more directory and we're going to call it recipe. Now, this folder is where we're going to have all of our JSON files for our recipes, for our custom recipes. And I'm going to add a recipe for the moonstone block, which can be crafted from 9 raw moonstone ores. And then also the 9 raw moonstone ores can be crafted from 1 moonstone block. So let's come in here, right click, new file, and we're going to call it raw moonstone ore.json. And then inside, we're also going to add moonstone underscore block.json. And the convention here that we're going to be using is typically the file is named after the result of what is crafted. So this file, the moonstone block, is going to be the file where the moonstone block is being crafted. The moonstone ore is going to be where the moonstone ore is going to be crafted from the block. So over here in the raw moonstone ore JSON file, what we're going to be doing is we're going to make it so that when we put 1 block of moonstone in the crafting table, the result is going to be 9 raw moonstone ore, kind of like the way a diamond block or a gold block works. We're going to do the same concept here. So I'm going to type out this file and then you're going to see how it kind of makes sense afterwards. It's a pretty intuitive file format and I'm going to explain it for you also. So we need a type. And that's going to be Minecraft. Oop, don't want any typos in these files also. Minecraft crafting underscore shapeless. Comma. And then we're going to give it a category. And we're just going to say building. Now we got to give it some ingredients. So I'll come out here, do a bracket, and then make another set of curly braces, and the ingredients are going to be an item, and let's give it the key, which is going to be example mod moonstone underscore block. So we just have one ingredient, and then we're going to come down here, and we need to give it a result. What's the result going to be? We're going to add some curly braces, and it's also going to be one result. We're going to do count of 9. Nope, count 9. And then the ID is going to be example mod raw underscore moonstone underscore ore. This is a shapeless crafting recipe, which basically means that we can place our ingredient right here, which is the moonstone block. We can place that in any block of the crafting table or any square of the crafting table in the 9x9 grid or the 4x4 grid. And the result down here is going to be 9 raw moonstone ores. So that's basically all this file is doing right here. Now we're going to come over into the moonstone block.json and we're going to define this one. It's going to be a little bit different. So the type is going to be, it's not going to be shapeless. It's going to be Minecraft crafting underscore shaped. The category is going to be right here, miscellaneous. So MISC. Now we're going to give it a key, and this key is going to be just a pound symbol or a hashtag. And what is this key going to represent? Well, it's going to represent an item, and that item is example mod raw underscore moonstone underscore ore. And let's fix that typo because that will mess us up there. Now we're going to come down here and define a pattern. And I think you're going to like this part. It's a little bit fun. So inside the pattern, make sure to do the brackets. And this pattern is going to be 3 strings. And you might know what this is. I will explain in a moment if not, but you might be able to see where this is going already. Then after the pattern, we need a result. And that result is going to be count of 1. Geez, I can't type today. ID is going to be example mod moonstone underscore block. All right, so what's going on here? And let's actually make sure to add commas up here. You can see the little red squiggly line, comma, comma. So what's going on here? Well, we have defined a key, and that key is basically this pound symbol. And what does this pound symbol represent? It represents raw moonstone ore. And the pattern down here, when we punch this in, this represents just the crafting table, if you haven't figured that out already. So when we fill the crafting table with 9 raw moonstone ore, that is going to be the key, the recipe. The result is going to be 1 moonstone block. So essentially this pattern is defining a condition, and when this condition is met and all 9 slots are filled with the raw moonstone ore, the result is going to be the moonstone block. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the smelting recipe for the moonstone ingot, because we have the moonstone ore, but we also have moonstone ingot, which when we smelt the moonstone ore, that will be the result. I'm just going to fast forward this part right here and then I'll explain after, but it's pretty much very similar format to this. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so here I've added the smelting and the blasting JSON recipe files. And what you can see is I just named them right up here, very verbose, so that you can see what the actual file is doing because I fast forwarded it. But this is the moonstone ingot from smelting raw moonstone ore. And you could see this is the type is smelting, category miscellaneous. And the ingredients are going to be right here, our mod ID, and then the key raw moonstone ore. So that's going to be the ingredient. And the result is going to be moonstone ingot, which we have already added to the game. It's one of our custom items. Our cook time, 200, experience right here. It's pretty straightforward. And in the blasting recipe, you can see they're basically identical. The only thing we change is the type from smelting to Minecraft blasting. And the cook time, we're going to reduce to 100 because blasting's typically faster than smelting. And then everything else, identical, all the same. And something you can do that really helps you out, or really helps me out, and I encourage you to do, is you can come down here to external libraries. And if you scroll all the way down to where you find net.minecraft right here, it's going to be net.minecraft merged, and it's going to be a bunch of nonsense right here. But there's only going to really be like one of these net.minecrafts. Open it. Come down into data, Minecraft, recipes, and you could see these are all the vanilla recipes. So if we click on one of them, let's go andesite stairs. We could see here's the crafting recipe for andesite stairs. It's pretty straightforward. And we come into here and you can see all these crafting recipe JSON files are formatted very similarly. So you can come look through this. I really encourage it. Make you more familiar with the Minecraft code, and as a result, a better programmer and modder in Minecraft, if that's something you want to do. Now, before we get on to the custom loot tables, let's actually go check out our mod in game and see if this worked. So come up to the client and just start. All right, we're in game and let's test this out. Let's go full screen so that we can actually see what we're doing here. And go into the crafting table, line these up in the 9x9 grid, and you can see we get the moonstone block. And then likewise, we could also use, did not mean to do that. We could go into here and use these to make the raw moonstone ore. So perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. And then if we go in here, we should also get this. We should be able to smelt this. And let's see. Get the moonstone ingot. Perfect. So it's working just as we expected. And we can open up this. And when I typed up in here, you could see under the blasting where it says group moonstone ingot. That basically means that my moonstone ingot recipe is going to be listed under here for the smelting recipe. So that's what that did. And you could see both of them are working. We're getting the experience. So now we've got our custom crafting recipes. Let's go back in and add the custom loot tables so that when we break the blocks, they're actually going to drop something. Because right now, they're not going to drop anything, even when we're in survival mode. All right, so first thing we're going to want to do is go into our mod blocks right here, this class that we made. And one thing I want to change is the moonstone ore block up here. We're actually going to change it from a new block right here to a new experience dropping block. You could see from net.minecraft.block tab. And then that's going to mess up everything up here. But let's come over here and make a new line so we could see what we're doing here. So we have a new experience dropping block because when you break the ore block, we're going to want it to drop experience. But in order to do that, we're going to have to add one more thing here. So let's say uniform int provider dot create, and then inside these parentheses 2,5. Then let's add another comma here and a new line, and let's say abstract block dot settings dot create dot strength, and all this is good to go. So yeah, all we basically did there was make it so that this is an experience dropping block as opposed to a non-experience dropping block. And what we could do is actually just clean up this format here. We don't need a new line there. Now you can see all the blocks that we've created or that you have in your mod and that I have in my mod. We have made them so that they require a tool. We've added the requires tool method here, and we've called that on all of them so that these blocks require a tool to break. You can't just use your hand and break them because that wouldn't really make sense. So before we actually add them to a loot table and make it so that they drop a block, we want to actually make it so that they can be mined by a pickaxe. We haven't defined what tool yet, but in this case, we want to make it so that they are mineable by a pickaxe. And to define what tool they require, we need to add them to a tag. And essentially a tag is just a group of items in Minecraft that have a similar purpose and they're grouped together for that reason. So in this case, we're going to be adding them to the groupings of blocks that are mineable with a pickaxe. So that's like a big tag, and that's a group that a bunch of blocks are in. We're going to add our custom blocks to that tag. And the place where we define this tag is going to be actually down here in our data folder. So in data, we right click and hit new directory, and we're going to call it Minecraft, and make sure you get the directory structure here correct. And then inside the Minecraft folder, we're going to do another directory called tags, and then in tags, another directory, and we're going to call it Mineable. And this in this folder is where our pickaxe.json file is going to be. So we can make our pickaxe.json file in the Mineable directory. Now inside this pickaxe.json file, it's going to look like this. So we'll say replace and set its value to false. Now we're going to need a values list, and this values list is going to contain all the blocks in our mod that require a pickaxe. So in this case, those blocks are going to be example mod :moonstone underscore block. And then do a comma, and we just need to add our other block, which is example mod :moonstone underscore or underscore block. And now these are the only two blocks that we have added to the mod. And so now they are added to the mineable by a pickaxe JSON file. But the thing is, these are actually both mineable by wooden pickaxes still, and we don't want them to be mineable by a wooden pickaxe. So we can change that if we come over to our tags. And inside tags, I actually should have done this before, but make a new directory and call it block. And in block, what we're going to want to do is just drag our mineable folder into there and refactor. So now it is inside the block folder. So you can see what I did there. It's Minecraft, tags, block, Mineable. And then in there, that's where our pickaxe.json folder is. So sorry about that. I should have made that in the structure before. That's important though. Make sure that you do that the structure is like this. But let's just say that the moonstone ore requires iron pickaxe and above, and the moonstone block, well, let's just say that requires diamond. You need diamond only. So in the block directory, we're going to right click new file, and we're going to say needs underscore diamond underscore tool dot JSON, right? And then we're also going to say in the same folder in block new file needs underscore iron underscore tool dot JSON. Now what we've done here is we've already defined this file, so this is going to be pretty easy. All we need to do is Control C, copy all this, and in the needs diamond, let's just paste it right here. And we're going to take out, we want only the moonstone block to be mineable by diamond. And let's just remove this one right here. And then in the needs iron tool, same thing, just Control V, paste it. But let's remove this one right here. So the moonstone ore block requires iron and above. Now we can actually add the loot tables. So this is going to make it so that the blocks actually drop themselves when we break them. So what we're going to do is we're going to close up these folders, and we're going to come into data and then example mod right here. We're going to add a new directory, and we're going to call it loot underscore table. And then inside the loot table directory, one more directory, and we're going to call it blocks. And make sure you get this right. If you get this wrong, like you definitely want to get this right. So get the structure right. We want it in the data example mod or your mod ID loot table blocks folder, and this is where we are going to add our loot tables. And we're going to add a different loot table for each of our different items here, or each of our different blocks. I'm just going to fast forward through it and explain afterwards, and you'll see why in just a moment. So just hang tight for a second and I'll be right back. All right, now let's take a look at these. So the moonstone block.json file, this is basically for any block that just drops itself when you break it. This is always what it's going to look like right here. This is basically the standard loot table for any block that follows that pattern. And if we want to just change the block that drops, all we need to do is change the name right here, and that's going to change it. But one important thing is actually that the name of the block that it drops has to be the same name of the file. But for our moonstone or JSON file, you could see, yeah, this is a bit more intimidating here. And yes, that's kind of a large JSON file right there. So the reason it looks like this is because there are alternatives. And what I mean by that is basically there is an alternative right here. And if the tool matches right here, Silk Touch, then we're going to drop the moonstone ore block just as is. We're going to drop it typically how Silk Touch works. We're not going to break it into an ore or an item. And we want to do that because that's how ores work in Minecraft. Like when you break diamond ore with a Silk Touch pickaxe, you don't want it to drop diamonds. You want to keep the Minecraft ore block. So that's what we're doing here. And then when we come down here, if we break it just otherwise, well, then we're going to drop raw moonstone ore, which is going to be an item. And the item is, it's like the little circle item that we created earlier. You'll see in a moment. And also we've applied here, there is, if the fortune If the fortune enchantment is applied, then we're going to account for that and add a bonus to the drop. And that's basically what this file is doing. So you can also come down in the external libraries and do the same thing over here that we just did. So you could find the merged file, go into the data, Minecraft, and then we will be able to find the loot tables. It's the wrong one, but yeah, right here, loot table, blocks, and you could see all the loot tables, and you can look through this, get familiar with the code and the way that the base game works, and I highly encourage that also. This is such a valuable resource to have and to be able to look through. If you're running into trouble, you can download the code. You can find the code on my GitHub repository, or you can also look through these and try to find help through these, but yeah, highly encourage looking through that. But in theory, with all this, and I'll scroll through this slowly so you could see, here's the top of the file, in the middle. Make sure you get all of this right anyway. So, yeah. So if you want to pause and type it out, or if you want to download it from the GitHub, you can do that. But that is this file, and here's this one again. But in theory, with all of this added, we should be able to run the game and actually see our items drop when we break the blocks. So let's actually go test this out now and see if our mod is working and if our blocks are going to drop. Also, before I go any further, just right here, there was a typo in the needs_diamond_tool.json. If you had a comma right here, delete that comma. I did not mean to have that. It caused me an issue. So now let's test out the game. All right, we're back in game, and let's actually see the mod in action. So if we come over here, and this right here is a diamond pickaxe with fortune 3. If we break the moonstone block, we're going to get it. And if we try to do this with iron, you can see it's not going to work exactly how we want it. So this one requires diamond and above. And then when we come over to the moonstone ore, we can break it with, not with stone. You can see it doesn't work. But if we use iron, we'll get it, and we'll get the moonstone ore, the raw moonstone ore. And then if we break it with the, I also have actually a silk touch pickaxe. So let's break it with the silk touch and see if that works. And boom. So we have the block of moonstone ore. The silk touch is working, and let's actually just try fortune. And fortune actually didn't work, so that's I'll try to fix that actually, but whatever. Let me see. We got 3. I think it's because, oh, forgot about that. I might need to change the bonus. Oh, see, no, there it worked. Boom, fortune worked. Okay, perfect. So yeah, that's basically how you add loot tables, custom loot tables, and custom crafting recipes and smelting recipes in Minecraft. If you enjoyed the video and actually learned something, well, thank you. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video because you'll surely learn something there also. Peace out.